Artificial intelligence is rapidly becoming the defining feature of modern computing, and AI PCs are a central part of this. With the launch of Intel's latest Core Ultra processors, the company is positioning AI PCs as the new standard for business users worldwide. Today I'm joined by Sarah Wieskus, Intel's Global Director of Commercial Client Sales, who will be sharing her insights on how Intel's latest processors build on previous generations, how enterprises can benefit from AI PCs, and how Intel is working with partners to make adoption both practical and cost-effective. It's great to have you, Sarah.
Thank you for having me today, Ellen.
Great. So to kick things off, our latest research shows that 92% of respondents said that they'd consider Intel for their AI PC deployments. How does the latest Core Ultra generation stand out from the competition?
Yeah, sure. Yes, we have quite a few customers in the market that rely on Intel. In the commercial segment specifically, 4 out of every 5 PCs are Intel based. So we have a long history of supporting our business customers with Intel technology for 50 plus years. So we already have a long history of supporting our customers, and they can rely on Intel to be there for them to really enhance the business environment for their users. So that's number one. We come from a large install base and a long history of quality and reliability for our customers. Number two, I would say, is the experience we provide to the end user. So the best performance, the best battery life, the best connectivity, the enablement we bring with the software ecosystem to make sure the software is written to run best on Intel. All of this enables a really strong experience for the business employee. And then I would say third is the benefit to the IT decision makers or the IT environment themselves. We have a long history of leading in security, which is very important for IT and for businesses overall. As we know, AI is providing a lot of good to the environment. We also know AI is helping attackers get more sophisticated as well. So the fact that we come from a long history of security for our customers is very important as well.
Absolutely. And we're hearing a lot about AI PCs in the technology space at the moment. Do you see them becoming the default choice for all business users in the future?
I do. I think there's a statistic that we expect 80% of all PCs to be AI PCs by the end of 2028. And this is very exciting as we look at the history of the AI PC. We introduced the AI PC 2 years ago in a premium notebook. Then we brought it last year to the desktop. And then you're going to see AI PC come down the stack into entry level as well. So AI PCs will be the default standard, 80% by the end of 2028.
And Intel vPro has been a cornerstone of your business use case for several years now. What value does it offer IT teams tasked with managing their endpoint estates today?
Well, first of all, vPro means professional, right? It's for the business user. So we put extra validation into that vPro platform from the beginning. So the vPro platform and the professional grade solution is different than a consumer device you would find in retail, for example. And that's across the entire platform. So we call it a platform because it's more than just the processor. It is a commercial grade processor. It's a commercial grade chipset. It's a commercial grade Wi-Fi connectivity. It's a commercial grade firmware and BIOS. So all of those pieces are different than they are on a consumer device and retail. So that's where it starts. And then the value it provides is that stability, right? The drivers are stable. It's not going to impact your image whenever there's a change. That it's that consistent process for IT that they really value. Number one in security. So we track all the vulnerabilities that happen in the world, and our competition has 4x more vulnerabilities than we do, and they left 78 SKUs unpatched. So all the work we do in security below the operating system, in the operating system in collaboration with Microsoft, and then above the operating system with the collaboration we do with software ecosystem, that all means you have the most secure system you possibly can have. And again, that's super important in this AI world as the attack framework is changing. And then lastly, management. right? To be able to get to these systems and manage them no matter where they are in the world, make sure they're up to date, make sure they're patched, make sure that they're healthy when a person starts their workday is all extremely important to improve employee productivity, to cut down help desk costs, to keep the business running. We saw what happened to the world when it went blue last year during the outage. And it showed the world that PCs are mission critical and you need to have a plan to get them up and healthy if there's ever a disaster in the future.
Definitely. And our audience has expressed a desire for more concrete, real world examples showing how AI PCs can deliver tangible business benefits for them. What use cases are you most excited about?
Well, number one, I always start with the fact that three processors are better than one. In an AI PC, let's start with the definition first. It's the presence of three processors. So you have a CPU, a GPU, and an NPU. And then you have software that's taking advantage of those three engines. So to start with, three is better than one, right? For a lot of different reasons. One of the things that I think is the easiest to explain from a use case standpoint is something I call offload. So the CPU has specific applications, let's say, that can really chew up the CPU performance, right? Security scanning that's happening in the background, our collaboration software when we have video running all the time, big databases. There's specific use cases that can really put a load on a processor. So I think it's exciting that we can offload some of that to these other engines and give you more performance back for the entire system. You can get up to 20% more performance and battery life by just offloading the security scanning from the CPU to the GPU or the NPU. So use the three processors that are there. That's a very, I know it sounds simple, but I think it's an impactful use case and everyone can benefit from that. It's not just for pretty PowerPoints or advanced searching or all those other things that we use AI for every day that we love. You just get more out of your system and it's so simple, right? And then I think it's really about how we can help specific vertical use cases that gets me excited. So my daughter is a nurse at Mayo Clinic in the NICU helping really sick babies every day. And one of the exciting announcements we've made with the use of an AI PC is in a hospital setting. So we've teamed up with Citrix to be able to provide high definition video quality of images. So today, Citrix is in the cloud, and sometimes it can be challenging for doctors and nurses to get a full definition view of an x ray because it's in the cloud, and sometimes there could be connectivity issues or bandwidth issues, and the image quality can get kind of grainy. And that's not what you want, right? And so we've worked with Citrix and they've said, hey, we want to use the AI PC. And so basically you take that file, that video, that x-ray, that picture, it decompresses, moves to the AI PC locally in the hospital, and then the AI PC decompresses it into a full high definition image. So then the doctors and the nurses can see the image in full high def, be able to make a diagnosis and help their patients. So for me, when we get into these vertical use cases or industry specific use cases, that gets really exciting for me personally when I have family members in healthcare.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that really important use case. And how are end users set to benefit from this generation of devices beyond AI?
Well, again, number one, more performance and more battery life. Who doesn't love that, right? No one wants to bring a charger around everywhere they go. And now, for the first time, with these 200V processors or Lunar Lake processors, you can get full battery life all day long. And so that's exciting. Like I've gone on a business trip, forgotten my charger, and I've been sweating bullets. And here I've been able to work on my system all day, not a problem. get home, get to my charger, not a big deal. And so those little things go a long way when people just don't have to think about it. If you don't have to think about remembering your charger, right? If you don't have to sit and boot up your system, go get a cup of coffee, and then maybe it's there and ready to go when you get back from getting your coffee. Like it's just instant. This instant on, this instant performance. I mean, we're in a world where we want everything right away, right? We want um social media right away. We want to process transactions right away when we're buying Christmas presents. Like we want everything immediately. None of us want to see that hourglass spinning or the circle spinning and waiting. We want everything immediately, and we want to not have to think about bringing things like our charger with us everywhere we go.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely see how that would help everyone. And finally, one thing that we often hear about AI PCs is the premium price point that comes attached. It's the leading obstacle to adoption, according to our own research. How are Intel and its partners approaching pricing this generation?
Well, AI PCs, again, when they launched 2 years ago, they were premium, right? And then over time, what you see is we add more form factors, we add more segments into the strategy. So we started with premium. Last year, we added the desktop, so you can get AI PCs if you're buying a desktop system for your environment. And then we've actually brought those price points down quite a bit. And then we're going to continue to offer options for the entry segment as well going into 2026. So it has changed quite a bit since when it first came out, and what I've called that is like a waterfall strategy. When something is, brand new and highest end, those things can be more expensive. Then over time, you see that those price points and that technology, come down the stack. So if you looked at it 2 years ago and you said, "Oh my gosh, that is way too expensive for me," I highly encourage you to look at it again because it has changed quite a bit over 2 years. We have it in options in notebook and desktop, and so everyone can benefit from an AI PC.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing those really interesting insights today. And as we heard, Intel is really setting the stage for mass adoption of AI PCs across the enterprise, driven by real world use cases and accessible price points. For IT leaders planning their next refresh, the future of endpoint estate is unmistakably AI powered. Thank you for watching.